And with that, we are going to get started right away as we have a lot of content to share with you in this hour. So I am going to hand it over to Mario to talk a little bit about some of the benefits of attending SBC, how you can accomplish that, and some of the tips that we've collected from the other members of the Small Business Steering Committee. Throughout this presentation, you can see in blue some testimonials from previous attendees on some of their tips. So, Mario, take it away.
Thanks, Ann. Appreciate that. And welcome everybody to the webinar. Appreciate you joining us today. Some of the benefits of attending SBC are listed on your screen, but just to go into a little bit more detail. Probably the number one reason for most of us to attend is the networking opportunities. And that is both with your potential customers as well as teaming partners. There's a lot of questions as to what you can and can't tell government agencies or what you can learn about. And honestly, as long as a solicitation is not out on the street, you're allowed to have these discussions, and are actually encouraged to have these discussions. This is an industry government engagement event, and both sides are there, both the business community, the industry community, and the government, in order to learn from each other. And that's one of the top ways that we do this, is by networking and having these discussions. So make sure you take advantage of that. I can tell you from the first time, my first SAME Small Business Conference was in 2011, and I was pretty sure I had enough business cards with me, and I was 100% wrong. I definitely did not have enough business cards. So make sure you bring a ton of business cards with you. However many you think you'll go through, double that. Because it's coming in from out of town, it's impossible to go back to your office and get more business cards. Educational opportunities. There are, if you haven't taken advantage of it yet, make sure you get on the conference website and look up all the different educational tracks. Highly recommend you download the app if you haven't done so. Highlight the education sessions you want to attend, because once you get there, it is really easy to get distracted and miss the opportunity, the educational opportunity that you really want to catch. So get that on your schedule your meetings around it, but plan ahead of time. In fact, I could say that for everything. Make sure you plan ahead of time. If you haven't downloaded the list yet of attendees, be sure to do that as well, and peruse that before you get there to identify who you want to contact, both, again, on the government and on the industry side. Talked about meeting potential and current clients already, and then about learning about finding and teaming partners. Talk to everybody that's there. Again, my first SAME Small Business Conference and one since then, I made a point of going and stopping at every booth, every exhibitor that was out there, even if I didn't necessarily see a fit, because when I gave my 30-minute elevator speech, 30-second elevator speech, and they gave theirs, we both learned about each other. And then very often, even though that exhibitor might not be a perfect fit for the type of business that I'm in, it wouldn't be surprising if they turned around and said, oh, you need to go stop by, fill in the blank, or I need to introduce you to somebody. So talk to everybody that's there. And that kind of covers this slide. Going on to the next slide, how do I accomplish all this? Well, I said it the last slide, I'm going to say it again. Plan ahead. We're only a couple weeks away right now. Now's the time to start looking and planning what you're doing. There is so much going on that if you don't plan ahead, the things you really want to get accomplished, it's going to be easy to have them slip through the cracks. So download that list of attendees. That's usually available about 2 weeks out. I don't know if it's available just yet, but 2 weeks out, you can download that list of attendees. You should go through there, identify the companies you really want to visit with. You'll be amazed at just going through that list of companies that you may not have realized, or individuals that you should be visiting, and they're, oh wow, they're attending, I should go. Do your research. Know who's attending from that company. Look them up on LinkedIn. If you find an individual, get an understanding of where they're coming from and what commonalities you have. And then there's lots of other tools on the SBC website for the conference. There's a lot of tools that are out there. And I mentioned the app. I've had that app on since we put it out there, and I can't stress enough to make sure you keep doing that. Here's some more notes on preparing for the conference and what people have said on how important it is that you make those plans. I'd also suggest that if this is the first time you're attending one of these conferences, that you try and set up a ahead of time one-on-one meetings. So now, before the conference, is the time to start emailing people and setting up and seeing if they've got a time to meet. And I'll give you a little note on that. I have lots of folks that now that I've been going for a number of years that will reach out to me and say, hey, I'd love to meet. Are you going to be at the conference? And I say, sure. And they say, great, we should try and catch up. Close the deal. If you want to meet with somebody, set up the meeting before you get there. Schedule a time. Because once you get there, everyone doesn't always check all their emails. And if you're like me, the emails you do check are the ones where fires that need to be put out very quickly back at the office. And you kind of move those through, and then you miss the emails of the person who said, hey, are you around? Because I'd love to connect with you right now. And that's always difficult. So can't stress that enough. Prepare in advance. Listening, being a good listener. You know, that I mentioned the elevator pitch, and everybody practices that and is well versed in telling about their company. When you see a group of folks, though, sometimes the best way to learn about what your future opportunities are is just sit there and listen. A lot of times, if it's with a customer that you want to get into and you have a few other folks that are standing in front of you, listen to what that conversation's going, how that conversation's going, what that customer is saying they need. Listen to how a competitor or another company is positioning themselves. Look at how the customer's reacting, what's connecting, what's not. Pay attention to do that. Also, don't be afraid to break into what looks like closed groups. Keep in mind, everybody there is there to network. So everybody wants to have those conversations, and somebody's got to start it. So by all means, walk up, stand in. Don't interrupt somebody, but don't be afraid to move over, and you'll find, smile, people end up inviting you to have a conversation as well. The networking roundtables are appointments that if you're a small business and you haven't made an appointment, we're going to teach you here soon in a few minutes how to do that. Make sure you do that. And there you go. The SB attendee list was actually posted yesterday. So again, I'm going to tell you, download that list. I can't emphasize that enough. Take it away, Ann.
Great. Those are some great tips. And you know what you were saying about don't be afraid to break into a closed group. I just want to point out to folks, it can be especially intimidating when the group is a people all in uniform. You know, you may feel like you're being rude or something, but you've got to remember that all of the folks who are representing the government, they really are there to find the contractors and the solutions that they need for the projects that they are managing. So don't hesitate to, you know, if you see a group of folks in their blues, just go up and say, hey, Colonel so-and-so, really was looking forward to meeting you. I mean, I think the thing you've got to remember is a lot of these folks, they only see each other at this conference or other conferences, so they might be just catching up on a casual basis. If you want to get to meet them about the business that they're responsible for, they will not be insulted at all. So just keep that in mind. So just a few facts and figures, and as you can see, we've got a lot of exhibiting companies who will be there, and many attendees, and this is why we really stress to you that you've got to do your work in advance so you can make the most of all of these opportunities. As of 12 noon, we had 2,832 individuals registered. Last year, 2018, the Small Business Conference had just over 3,200 people. And right now we are ahead of pace. So we are expecting 3,500 or more total registrants. So again, lots of opportunities. You can see the demographic breakdown of the attendees here. And as probably many of you know, the government are always the last, with all due respect to all those in the government. They are the last to handle these particulars like registering or reserving a hotel room. So more to come. Last year at the end, I would say we had over 20% of the audience representing the government. So as you're walking around the conference, folks do have different colored badge holders based on their grouping, so to speak. So anyone with an orange or gold, yellow colored badge holder across, there's a strip across the top, they are representing the government. We did implement having this different color last year because it is hard a lot of times to identify a civilian from the government as being with the government, and so therefore those folks will be wearing the orange strip. Green is someone who is an attendee. Blue means they are with an exhibiting company, and someone with a gray holder means that they are just there for that particular day. And we bring that up because if you see someone that you've really been trying to meet and they're there for just that day, you know you've really got to capitalize on that meeting. Then we also do have ribbons that help people further identify themselves. They are a self-select. We have 2 ribbon stations in the registration area, so definitely check that out. We've got ribbons for the different small business designations. For example, one that says 8A, one that says women-owned, so small businesses can show off their designations. So a little bit more about some of the government representatives that are attending. We do have more than 200 representatives from the Army Corps of Engineers and the Army. I would say every division commander will be there, the overwhelming majority of district commanders, many small business liaison officers and contracting officers from USACE will be there, so we are very grateful for their support. Air Force civil engineers and major command engineers will be in place, lots of representatives from NAVFAC and the Navy. The Department of Veterans Affairs is sending a lot of their representatives from Construction and Facility Management Office and also Veterans Health Administration. You may remember last year we had a co-location with the VA's National Veterans Small Business Engagement construction targeted event. There is no co-location this time. The VA realized it was just much more beneficial for them to just incorporate themselves into SBC. So we are very happy with that, and they will be around. We've also got representatives from Department of Energy, Department of State, Small Business Administration, lots of other government agencies there to help you succeed in your business. So just another quote from one of our past attendees, really just focus on getting to know people, as Mario said earlier, listening, and don't get overwhelmed about selling, because it really is about the relationship in the long run. So number 2 benefit of SBC is our educational opportunities. We have 3 plenary sessions, 1 happening each day, so definitely make sure to take advantage of those. We've got 23 total education sessions. These sessions really are focused on how you can make your business more successful, tips on working with the federal government. You see our different categories / tracks. So definitely seek those out while you're at the conference. And of course, our business opportunity briefings. This is a list of all of the topics. All of these sessions have representatives from different services and government agencies briefing the upcoming opportunities that they have for our small businesses. So our tips from the Small Business Steering Committee really is to pick sessions that align with your goals. As we have emphasized many times, it's really important to go into the conference with goals already established. So you want to pick the sessions that align with those goals and are going to help you achieve them. Bookmark the sessions that you are interested in our website itinerary builder on the app. We're going to teach you how to do that in a little bit later. All of the session presentations can be downloaded from the SBC website. We do put those up as soon as we have a final version. So very likely if you go there today, you're not going to find any presentations. As we all know, speakers like to finesse their presentations right up to the last minute. We will be recording the business opportunity sessions. This is an audio recording synchronized to the slide presentation. So if you're really caught up about, can't decide what to do in any particular time frame, know that the business opportunity sessions are being recorded, so you might decide to go to a regular education session instead, since you can reference the recording after the conference. Typically, it's about 2 to 3 weeks after the conference that we get those recordings posted onto the website. But of course, the presentation will be available before then. So our third benefit is meeting potential and current clients. I'm going to hand this back over to Mario.
Thanks, Ann. So on the meeting of potential and current clients and future clients, you got to know who they are. So you have to do your homework. I guess that's the theme that I keep putting out here is it's very important to do your homework before you get there. Keep in mind, especially on the first day that the exhibit hall opens up, a lot of folks are going through, you'll find that you're standing there having a conversation with somebody and there's people waiting in line behind you. So you do want to do a lot of your homework ahead of time. You want to identify, if you walk up and say, hey, so Corps of Engineers, Fort Worth District, what is it you guys do? You probably want to have a little bit more information than that. You'll hear people ask that question, but I would suggest if you want to get the most out of it, you should know that, for example, the Fort Worth District is in charge of executing on the border barrier. And then instead of who you are and what you do, you could say, hey, I know there's metal fabrication needs, and we have a metal fabrication facility, or we're heavy civil, or we're a small business that does environmental control. Those are the things that if you go visit that person, that potential current client, and already know what they've got listed out there on their projections for next year, or what type of work they're executing on, you can have a much better conversation. You'll have a sticky factor in their memory. They'll remember you. That doesn't mean that you can't learn about additional opportunities. If you start off with, hey, I know you've got this coming up. Do you have anything else that lines up with this type of work that's coming out in this year or next year? They can tell you about that. On the partner side, teaming partners and clients, it's how do we work together? So don't be afraid to ask questions about what their needs are, what type of contractor, ask them about their success stories. And again, you may not be able to do that the first time you stop by the exhibit booth, but it's not a one and done sort of deal. So a lot of times by the second day, toward the end of the exhibit hall, you'll find that not as many people are standing there, and it's easy to go back and visit that person, have another conversation. Same thing goes for during networking events. At the end of every exhibit hall session, there's an opportunity to seek back out those people that you talked to earlier, and don't be afraid to do that and have a more in-depth conversation. If we go on to the next slide, keep in mind you can't do everything. So if you do it well and you're having conversations over you don't expect to walk away with 3,500 business cards. You may have 100 business cards, but even 100 business cards, you're probably not going to be able to follow up with all those people, and follow up after the conference is really important. So ahead of the conference, identify your 3 to 5 top prospects that you absolutely want to meet with. Try and shoot them an email, see if you can set up a meeting ahead of time. Definitely seek them out if they're exhibitors when you get there. If you meet somebody that wasn't even on your list and they give you a card and there's a great opportunity, make sure you take notes on the back of their business card so that you don't lose them in the shuffle of all the different people that you're going to meet. Do your research online. There's lots of tools out there. There's ones that you pay for, like FedMine and GovWin. There's others like FPDS, the Federal Procurement Data System, that doesn't cost you anything. If you're looking for opportunities in your backyard, if you look at what agencies are going to attend, you can look at what they've bought and what are the top NAICS codes. You can have all that information before you ever walk up to them. And if you do that and they align with your capabilities and you say, hey, I noticed last year you purchased XYZ, how's that going? Or you started this project was awarded, do you have another project that looks like that coming down the pike? Those are the type of things that will impress those clients. So I highly recommend that. Next slide. This has some more information about a quote from somebody else. And USACE is a great example. They show up, as Ann said earlier, they'll have about 200 people in attendance from all the different divisions. And keep in mind that each division has different focuses. So if you've done your research ahead of time, that would be great. If you don't be scared to walk up to those folks and introduce yourself and ask about what challenges are they having. Sometimes they'll tell you, well, we're having a really hard time finding hub zone small businesses. And if you're a hub zone, you can zero in and explain why you can do the work. And that will be pretty well received. Moving forward, learning about finding teaming partners. You'll find a lot of people focus on the customers that are there. For growing our business, and our business has grown, there were only 2 of us, let me put it this way, when we started attending SBC in 2011, and we're 125 employees around the country right now. And I can say unequivocally, aside from our activities and involvement with SAME and the Small Business Conference and making it a go-to place for us each year, the second most important factor was the amount of teaming partners that we met at these conferences and that we developed relationships with. That's what grew our company. The first time we ever went, we were just learning. We were getting a handle of all the different companies that are exhibiting and learning about them. And I'll be honest, I hadn't done any of my pre-conference due diligence. That has changed, but I didn't do it then. But if you do, it's easy to walk up and say, hey, WSP, I see that you provide architectural and engineering services. And by the way, I know that you just won contract X. And then we also provide structural engineering. And are you looking for teaming partners for that contract or others that are coming up? That'll help. Bring a win-win. A lot of people exchange business cards and they say, hey, you're my teaming partner. Let me just go ahead and, if you ever see anything, we're 8A, give us a call. Well, if I'm a large business, I'm probably not tracking the 8A opportunities. On the flip side, as the 8A, I should be tracking those opportunities. So I'd say, when I meet that potential teaming partner, large business or other business that has the capabilities to support our efforts, say, would it be okay if I reached out to you, because there's a couple different 8A opportunities I know are coming down the pike, I think you'd be perfect for, and that's a good way. And then if you actually follow that up, again, you will separate yourself from the pack. Make sure you scan that list of exhibitors and know who's there so that you know where you're going to go. And add them to your itinerary. Can't say that enough. Be strategic. With 3,500 people there, you definitely have to be strategic on how you do this. Otherwise, you're going to come home and say, gosh, I feel like I missed out while I was there. I'm going to turn it back to Ann to talk about how we use our website tools.
Great. Well, thank you, Mario, for all that great advice, because without all of those things top of mind, using the website and our various tools really don't mean very much at all. So we're going to go over some things with the website, reviewing the schedule, how to request networking roundtable appointments, bookmarking exhibitors and sessions, review the attendee list, downloading handouts, and so forth. So we are going to now check out the website, and the key to the website really is the attendee service center. So when you use the website, you want to log into the attendee service center, and the login information has been in every single email that we have been sending you, which you should have received at least 3 or 4 by this time. So we're going to get to the ASC in just a moment, but here we are at the website. And first thing I want to highlight is the schedule. So you can click on schedule right here so you can see an overview of what is happening on each day. So as you can see here in the time frames where we have multiple sessions going on at once, for example, Wednesday at 1 o'clock, you can click on that plus button, and then all of the sessions at that time will appear. You can click on the session itself, and you will get a little pop-up of a description of the session. Let's choose this one. And the speakers in that session. So this is a real quick way to see what is going on each day. As far as the sessions are concerned, a little bit deeper information, you can click on the Sessions tab here at the top and click and, find out more information about all of our sessions. This is going to default to show every session that's occurring throughout the conference, but there's a number of ways to narrow that down. So you can look just by the track. You want to pick which track and then click on search, and it's going to narrow down to only those sessions that are in that track. You can look by speaker last name. Of course, you want to clear that out too. And it's going to show you the sessions where anyone with Frank in their name is speaking. So here's the 2 sessions where Josh Frank is speaking. So definitely check that out when you are there on the website. And then I'm going to show you the exhibit hall floor plan. So on our exhibits page, this is where you can see a map of the trade show floor. As I mentioned before, we've got 450 or so companies and government agencies who have a booth in the exhibit hall. So on here, if you put your mouse over top one of the booths, it's going to show you the company name, description, and booth number of the person that's in that booth. You can click on the booth, and a little bit more information is here. You can send a message to the contact person for that company. As Mario said, it's always a great idea if you really do have some important targets. You can send them a note right from the website to that company. And again, there's other ways to search. Search by booth number, search by keyword. You can search by NAICS code. Great way to do that. You can search by small business designation. So again, if you are really in need of a Hub Zone partner, pick Hub Zone, click search, and a list is going to appear right here. So definitely a great tool that we highly suggest using. So let's move on then to the Attendee Service Center. and I'm going to head over to the Attendee Service Center here. So when you're logged into the Attendee Service Center, you see this lovely welcome page that talks all about what's going on within the Attendee Service Center. But as we know, the probably number one thing people want to hear about are the networking roundtables. But first, I'm going to demonstrate our itinerary builder. So you want to click on Networking Roundtables and Itinerary Builder, and you'll see three tabs here at the top: Search, Appointments, and Profile Setup. So we're on the Search tab. First, we're going to bookmark our exhibitors and sessions. So you see here we've got a button that says Exhibitors, and we've got one that says Session. So I've clicked on Exhibitors, and you can see that you can search by exhibitors, very similar to the interactive exhibit hall, which we just saw. So you can look by name. This is just a drop-down list of all of the exhibiting companies. And you could do it here by business type. So let's look for all of the government booths. I'm going to click on search, and then here you see that the results have appeared, and we have two columns. So right now we're going to concentrate on the bookmark column, and I'm going to bookmark, I want to see AFCAC, definitely need to meet with GSA, and NAVFAC. So I've now bookmarked those exhibitors. And what I can do, I'm going to clear this out so we can see the PDF itinerary a little bit. Oh, sorry, I lied. And we're going to scroll down here, and I'm going to click on this PDF itinerary. So this is going to create a handy-dandy list of, the first page is our networking roundtable appointments. We'll get to that in just a moment. Second page, here's the list of exhibitors that I have bookmarked and their booth number. And then my favorite functionality is here is the floor plan, and you can see highlighted in green here, those are the booths that I want to visit. Now, with such a large exhibit hall, it really is important to be organized about this. So creating this customized map is really very helpful, because that way, if you want to go into the hall and, you know, go from aisle 100 to aisle 1800, you know which are the companies that you have targeted in each aisle to visit. I would really highly recommend making prioritized lists of exhibitors. The exhibitors that are, I have to visit these folks, and then a second tier list that once I visit all of the exhibitors on my must visit list, this is the second people that I want to see once I've accomplished the other goals. And then maybe you can create a third tier list of, it will be nice to see these folks if I have time, but I probably won't. But it's always good to be organized in that way, because of course, there's just so many engagements throughout the conference. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to go back up, and I'm going to show you how to look at this long list. It takes a while to scroll through that. Sorry about that. And we're going to search for the sessions. So again, you want to click on the sessions button, number of ways to search for those. I'm going to look at the entering the federal marketplace. My company hasn't secured any federal contracts at this point, so I really feel like I want to make sure that I go to some of these sessions. And Building America, building your business, that sounds great to me. CPARs, man, I've heard so much about CPARs. I want to really know what all of that's about. And small business success on IDIQ contracts, that sounds great. So now you can see I have bookmarked those. I'm going to go to my PDF itinerary, and we will have a list of the sessions. So you can see that now the bookmark sessions have been added to the bookmarked exhibitors page. Very handy right there. Tells you the day, the time, and the room number for your sessions. Great way to get organized. Definitely do not wait until you are on site to take care of this, because you will find you are running out of time really quickly. So with that, I see that there are a couple of questions that were submitted into the chat, and I'm going to address those for a moment. One question is, how many copies of our capabilities statement should we bring? Mario, do you want to address this one?
So I'm going to say you got 3,500 people there, and you are going to have somewhere around a third, conservatively, stop by if you're exhibiting at a booth. Stop by. So make sure you have enough for everybody. Nothing worse than not having it. If you're not exhibiting, if you're just walking it, I would actually, I never bring any of my capability statements. I always use that as a follow-up opportunity. I'm very comfortable in talking about what my business does. I have my one sheet that differentiates is very often I'll use an iPad to then have my capabilities as a visual presentation. And part of my reason of not handing it out is that I have that person's permission to follow up and send that to them when I get home.
Wow, that is an interesting methodology. I would say if you have networking roundtable appointments with government agencies, you have to have your capability statement. They're going to ask for it. They want it. We actually get government folks emailing us here at the office saying, these people made appointments with me. Do you have a copy of their capability statement? As Mario said, when you have an appointment with someone, maybe you can reach out to them in advance, email them your capability statement in advance. But you could take Mario's approach, or you could take the approach to bring it with you. I would bring at least 100. So maybe, Mario, we can have a bet about who gave better advice about the capability statement.
I'm going to always go with Ann's advice is better than mine.
I don't know. You have become very successful, Mario, so I would say I will listen to whatever you say. Okay, another question came in. Do we have any advice for this company as a first-time exhibitor on how many giveaways to bring for our booth? Well, first of all, let me say welcome. Thank you so much for exhibiting. We hope you have a great experience, and we're glad that you're joining us. Again, I think this is a hard question to answer because not every single person is going to come to your booth. And personally, my feeling about this, I am not a architecture, engineering, construction professional. I actually am a trade show manager, producer, meeting producer, so that's my background. My feeling about booth giveaways is some people are going to come around and just want to pick up your tchotchkes. And that to me is not really cool. So, maybe you have two types of giveaways. One that you don't care. If people just want to pick up, oh, that's a really cute pen, can I take a pen? And they're not going to engage with you at all. But then maybe you have something a little bit nicer when someone like Mario comes up and you say, oh my gosh, we've really been looking for a hub zone company doing work in New Mexico. Let's talk some more. Here, let me give you this power drive for your phone. I know you're always traveling, Mario. You can always use some extra juice for your phone. Here, please take this this backup battery. So that's kind of what I think. If you are bringing just sort of cheaper giveaways, I think that you should probably bring at least 1,000. The nicer things, probably 100 or so is good. Any insights you want to give on this one, Mario?
I love the chapsticks. I walk around and pick up all my chapsticks for the year of these.
Oh my gosh. The
I'm
chapstick, I will have to say, is definitely one of the better.
And I will actually give out a plug because I'm looking right now. I just pulled out of my pocket. I got a Stanley Consultants chapstick. So it works.
Oh, that's great. You know which one I have on my desk? Live Oak Bank. So it is. I love that because you know what? You're doing so much talking at these things, and it is just definitely dry inside these convention centers that chapstick is an essential. So, okay. Another question, can you show us where to download the attendee list? I can't find it. Absolutely. We're going to get to that in just a minute. Oh, and Jerry found it. Great job, Jerry. But thanks for the reminder. We'll show everybody else how to download it too. And I think that covers all of our questions. All right. So now back to the networking roundtable appointments. So on our search page, this is also where we are going to request our networking roundtable appointments. And I would like to just point out one thing about the networking roundtable appointments. At this time, only people who are representing a company with 100 or fewer employees are able to make a networking roundtable appointment. Next week on the 12th, the appointments will be opened up to all individuals. And in the past, this was restricted 100% to only companies from the SAME definition of a small business, which is companies with 100 and fewer employees. So after discussion with the Small Business Steering Committee, we did decide we would open up the opportunity to all companies, but we were going to limit it with the SAME definition of a small business in the beginning. So I'm just going to put that out there now. If you're with a company like AECOM, you're not going to be able to make an appointment today, but next week you will be able to. So what we're going to do again is go back to our exhibitor search. And I am going to, again, look for just government agencies, and I'm going to click search. So we're back again to our list where you can see these two columns, make appointment and bookmark. So obviously, make appointment is how you're going to request an appointment with a table host. So as you can see here, there's two icons in the make appointment. So restricted means that either the organization is not hosting a table, or perhaps that all of the appointments are already taken. So that is what that means. Otherwise, in order to request an appointment, we can click on this icon. It's a calendar with a question mark. We're going to click on that, and we've got another window that opens. And you can see these are all of the times of the appointments. The appointments are 20 minutes in length each. You are making an appointment only for yourself. It is not for you and other representatives of your company. It is literally just for you. In the appointment, there are 3 seats. So you may be meeting with the table host with other businesses who booked an appointment at the same time. So want to be clear about that. So to request the appointment, you're just going to simply click on the radio button at the time frame that you want to request the appointment. You've got to scroll down to the bottom. Here's where you can write some notes saying, would love to work with you. We are a hub zone contractor, blah, 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 blah. We know you're looking for a hub zone. Look forward to meeting with you. And then you're going to click on request appointment. I'm not going to click on that right now because I am in a test record. So you are going to click request appointment, and then the request is going to go to the company or the table host. I would like to say this. The table host then is supposed to either accept or decline your request. There is no guarantee that the host is going to accept your appointment. We do ask that table hosts follow up with the appointment requests every day. That doesn't always happen. Unfortunately, SAME has no control over that. The table host does get an email alert every single time somebody asks for an appointment with them. So, you know, they definitely are notified when someone requests an appointment. So just, I would say just try and be patient with that. Just, you know, sometimes when the hosts decline the appointment, don't feel bad about it. We do ask for the hosts to let you know why. You know, sometimes it might be that they are not right now contracting for the services that you provide. And so really it is not a great use of your time or their time to meet if there's no possibility of doing business together. So, you know, if someone declines your appointment, don't feel bad about it. You can always visit them at their booth instead to have a casual conversation. So I'm going to now click on the Appointments tab, and this is where you can manage your appointments and your bookmarks. So here at the top, you can see that I had previously requested an appointment with Test Company. The icon here has a green check mark. That means the company approved my appointment. So that is great. So now I know, okay, great, Thursday at 2, I'm meeting with Test Company. I'm going to get prepared. Tells you who the contact is. And down at the bottom here, you can see pending, approved, canceled, declined. So that is your, that's your key to what the icon is. So if the host hasn't accepted or declined your appointment, this is going to show up as yellow. You can click on the company name to see some more information about them. Send them an email if you want, visit their website, and all that great stuff. So below here, this is the bookmarks. Here's, I'm sorry, so you're seeing the canceled or the declined appointments. So that gives you a record of saying, oh yeah, I had requested an appointment with Booz Allen, they declined, I'm not going to ask them again to meet with me. So I think it's a great tool just to show you, you know, so you're not again asking for an appointment with someone who already said no. And then below here, these are your bookmarks. So if you want to remove sessions, remove exhibitors, you can do that there on this page. And then finally, I am going to go to this profile setup. This is the information about you. So the table host is going to see this information. So definitely suggest making sure this is up to date, your NAICS codes, DUNS number, and so forth. I will say the DUNS number is extremely important to government agencies. They have always been asking us to add that to our registration system, and so we have done that. So let's see here. I'm just checking my notes to see what else that we wanted to talk about as far as the networking roundtables are concerned. So I am just going to show you some of our tips about the networking roundtables. Before you leave home, you know, you've done all your appointment requests. Print out your itinerary before you leave. We will have networking roundtable concierges who can help you on site if you want to update your appointments, print your itinerary, and so forth. Bring business cards, bring your capability statement for the host. Do your research. Don't show up completely blind. You'll probably look a little silly. And, you know, create a list of questions that you have for the table host. Again, there may be other people at the table. This is not an opportunity for you to be pitching your company. That being said, have an elevator speech. Like Mario said, here's the quick pitch. I am with SAME, Society of American Military Engineers. We are the chief collaborator between public, private, academia, nonprofit in order to improve and solve our nation's infrastructure. So have that down pat so people know who you are, who you represent, and why your company is great. Again, as I said, remember these are not one-on-one meetings. Be respectful of the other folks that are at the table. This is really a time for you to learn from the table host. Ask specific questions. Say, hey, I was on FedMine the other day. I saw that you have done a lot of business with AECOM. We just went into a joint venture with them. We would love to work with you more. Can you give me some tips on how I can get my foot in the door with the USACE Kansas City district? So those are some of the top tips about networking roundtable appointments. Mario, anything else that I missed on that?
No, I think you did a really good job on that. And remember, guys, even if you're not pitching your company, when you're listening and hearing what other people are talking about, you can learn just as much. And it's easier to then add value with your comments, and people will remember that.
Absolutely, that is so true. Okay, so last thing I'm going to point out here on our website is the attendee list. So again, you do need to be logged in to the Attendee Service Center, and you're going to see SBC attendee list right here. Just go to the list. You're going to click on this. You get this pop-up, and you will see that the list is going to pop up. I'm going to bring this right over here. Sorry about that. And here is the list. I just want to point out a couple of things. When people register for the conference, we do ask them how they would like their information published. We take this very seriously. We do not publish contact information for people who do not want their information to be published. We don't give out email addresses for people who don't want us to share their information. People do have the option of not being included on this list at all. So you can see in this list, there's 2,618 people. Earlier in this presentation, I told you we had more than 2,800 registrants. So 200 some odd folks didn't want their name included on here. So just want to keep that in mind. Please respect the wishes of the individuals on the list. If you have the contact information from someone who doesn't want to be contacted, don't send them a mass marketing email. You're just going to really annoy them. So otherwise, you can sort the list, you know, by the small business designations that are included here. We've included the NAICS codes of the companies. So definitely use this as a tool for your success.
And if I could add on to that, just because you didn't mention the mass marketing, there's a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of people on this call as well as myself, you get a lot of mass market emails that aren't necessarily applicable to you. And from a your business brand standpoint, really think about if that's the best way to put your brand out there, is just sending off an email that says, hey, this is who we are, to 3,500 people, some of which, or a great number, which won't even have any application to your business.
Exactly. All right, well, we are heading into the final stretch of our webinar. Again, I would encourage you to submit a question to the chat if we haven't covered anything that you've got questions about. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our app next. So our app is called SAME Events. So in your app store, that's what you want to search for. I will say I am an iPhone user, so most of my information and screenshots are coming from an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, I do apologize. There may be things that are a little bit different, but on the whole, all the functionality of the app is the same. I will tell you, if you're an iPhone user, sometimes if you have the app already downloaded, sometimes it's best to delete the app and re-download it. I personally have to do that. Some of my teammates don't. It's just a quirk. I do have an older phone. What can you say? So anyway, if you do have the app already, it may load to the last event. So for example, if you are at JETC, it may load up to say JETC, in which case what you're going to want to do at the bottom is you're going to want to click on this start button here, and then click on events, and it is going to show you the different options. So once you're in the app, here is our main menu of all of the different functionalities of the app. So for optimal use of the app, definitely recommend using the My Planner. That is this item right here at the bottom. When you click on that, you're going to see the My Planner page. So you can see My Planner page. My name and my photo is up there, and here are the different My Planner items. We're going to circle back to this after I show you how to use some of the functionality. Something new that's been added this year in the My Settings. When you go into My Settings, you see here, add bookmark events to calendar. If you've got this toggled on, it is going to allow everything you've bookmarked, sessions and appointments, it's going to download to your phone's calendar. Hooray! If you live and die by your phone and your Apple Watch reminding you in 15 minutes you have an appointment with WSP, you are going to love this. You don't have to duplicate efforts. I personally am really thrilled about this. So, next, going back to our main menu here, this is how you can bookmark sessions via the app. Now, of course, if you have bookmarked things on the website, and if you log into My Planner on the app, it's going to translate for you. So here you can see, you can display the session, all of the sessions. You can look at it by each day, and then you can also do a filter by track. So if you click on that filter button up at the top, it's going to open another screen where it shows you the different tracks and lets you filter sessions by that way. And to bookmark something, Once you go into the session, there's a little bookmark icon, and you just tap that and it gets bookmarked. Pretty easy. Next, just want to point out some floor plans. So the exhibit hall floor plan can be seen by clicking the floor map at the bottom of the menu screen. It's going to pull up this floor map. You can expand it with your fingers and stuff, touch the booths to get some more information on that. The conference maps item in the menu is going to bring you to another screen where you can get a floor plan of the convention center. Level 1 and level 2 are the only ones where we've got activities. You click on that, it's going to bring up a map that you can look and see where everything's happening. Okay, next we're going to go to the exhibitor list. So when you tap on the exhibitor list, here you can see a list of all the exhibitors. It's going to default to sort by company. At the top, you can type in here the name of the exhibitor that you're looking for. And once you tap on that exhibitor, it's going to open up another screen. This is how you bookmark the exhibitor. And if they're hosting a networking roundtable, you can schedule a networking roundtable appointment with them right from here. Once you click on that networking roundtable icon, it's going to open up another screen. Looks very similar to how it looked on the web. You're going to tap the time that you want. Remember to scroll down to the bottom, type your note, click on request appointment, so the appointment is sent. This is showing you how my agenda looks. So I've shown you my agenda. Thursday, I had bookmarked the plenary session, and I have an appointment at 10:30 with Test Company. So that is my agenda. Obviously, you can look at day by day. My appointments, when you click on my appointments, it is going to show you this right here. So that is the appointments. It shows you the status of your appointment. This particular appointment is pending. If it was accepted, obviously it is going to show you that it was accepted. My sessions is going to be this. These are the sessions that I had bookmarked. Again, you can show all of them. You can look at them by day. And then finally, the My Exhibitors menu item in the My Planner page is going to list out all the exhibitors that you had bookmarked. So definitely great tools. The app should be available in all of the pertinent app stores. So highly recommend that you download that. So putting it all together, Mario, you just want to remind everyone of all of our great advice today.
So again, set your goals ahead of time and know who you want to go see. Know your time's valuable and so is theirs. Ann took us through a bunch of great tools that are out there. Use it. Can't emphasize that enough. Whether you're using the app or using this stuff online, definitely utilize that, because if you don't use it ahead of time, you're not going to have as an effective conference as you would if you did use it. Put together a plan and then execute and document it, just like any sort of capture management that we all might do in our day-to-day business. This is the exact same thing. If you don't follow up, you don't follow through both at the conference and afterwards, then you're really not going to get the most bang for your buck. Documenting the ROI, the return of investment for attending the SAME Small Business Conference. It's not about the number of business cards you get. I will tell you, manage your expectations. I have yet to walk into these conferences and walk out with somebody handing me a contract That's never happened. Maybe it'll happen for somebody, but it's never happened for me. And in fact, that's one of the questions I hear people ask all the time is they say, hey, at the end of the last day of the conference, how was the conference for you? And my standard response is ask me in 2 years, because historically I can always go back 2 years and look at the connections that I made and the contract that I just won today and say, hey, this is because I met teaming partner X or talked to agency Y 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So track that and track it all the way through, and you'll be amazed. The last thing I want to give is which we haven't touched on. You have all these business cards you walk back with. If you're not on LinkedIn and you're doing networking, you're making a mistake. Get on LinkedIn and reach out to those people shortly after, within a week or two max from the conference, and send a note that says, hey, I just met you at the small business conference. And you'll find that both teaming partners and agency customers are on LinkedIn, and very often will accept your connection if you tell them where you just met them.
Absolutely, that is great advice. And you might even want to put on your calendar now, carve out 2 hours of time the week following SBC, or maybe the first week of December, since right after SBC is Thanksgiving, to do some follow-up. Because if you're not following up very soon after the conference, you probably are going to miss out on some of those great connections that you made.
And if I can add one more thing, I just thought about something that I really need to put in there also, that this is our organization, our association. So use the conference. If you're not already involved in a community of interest, whether it's the small business community of interest, who this conference falls under, or any of the other great community of interests that we have across SAME, this is the time to start that discussion so you can get involved, because what you put into it, not just at the conference, but in the organization, is what will come back out.
Great advice. With that said, we at SAME, we truly care about your experience. This conference is for you and for you to be successful. And we are here for you and to help you. So the overwhelming majority of the SAME National Office staff will be at the conference, and we have a number of volunteers, over 100 volunteers helping us in various capacities. So look for us in our daily uniforms. The SAME National Office team, we wear a logo shirt, different color each day, and a red fleece if we're cold. As if you've ever been to a convention center, you know it's always cold in there. And our volunteers will be wearing red t-shirts that say "Ask Me" on the back. We are fully training our volunteers that they should be able to answer almost any question that you have, and if they can't, they know how to find the answer. So our team registration desk is always open during the conference hours. Visit us there if you have any questions. We have an SAME booth in the exhibit hall. Again, we are there for you to answer any questions about SBC or SAME in general. If you're interested in getting more involved in a community of interest, meet my teammates Jill and Stacy in the SAME booth, and they would love to talk to you more about it. We've got our networking roundtable concierge desk. My teammates Natasha and Katya will be there, and they know how to help you about the networking roundtable, so definitely visit them if you need any assistance. And we have a post-conference survey that will be sent out after the conference. We take these very seriously. Everyone in our office is required to read it. We do have a meeting where we talk about what were your top 3 takeaways from the survey? What did you glean from the survey? And we read the survey a couple times a year. I actually went back and read it last week, and it reminded me of a couple of tweaks that we needed to make at this stage of the detail game. So please do fill that out. Everyone reads it. Joe Schrodel, our executive director, reads it. Believe me, I have gotten a number of emails saying, why did this person make this complaint and what are you going to do about it? So again, I'll say it again, we take it very seriously. So please do fill it out. We do have a first-time attendee breakfast Wednesday morning. If you RSVP'd already and you're a first-timer, that's great. If you didn't, let us know. We are at capacity, but if you're on this webinar and you didn't RSVP, we will absolutely let you in. And Mario and some other members of our steering committee will be leading that breakfast. It is really, main purpose there is to network, meet other first-timers. We'll have a number of mentors at the conference or at the breakfast as well, who can help you out. So highly recommend coming to that. And we will see you in about 2 weeks. I want to go to a question that someone submitted, and it was about where we could find some of our previous webinars, which is a great question. So if you go back to the website, we have a page. Now let me see if I can find it. We have a page on the website about how to prepare for SBC. Mario and the steering committee team cultivated this top 10 list of pieces of advice. So definitely suggest checking that out. And you can see, if you go to this webinars page, you can see our prior webinars. We had a great webinar about capability statements. Highly recommend watching that one to get some tips on how to update your capability statement. And then last month, we had a webinar about strategically preparing for SBC, just elaborating a little bit more on some of the tips and advice that Mario gave. And then on this page is where we will post the recording of this webinar today. So definitely check that out. We have also a podcast and resources page. This has got some advice from folks in the past. Great podcast that Mario did on the Federal Game Changer podcast. So definitely suggest giving that a listen as well. And with that, if there are no other questions, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I want to thank you especially for registering for SBC and participating. And finally, I want to thank Mario for taking his time to share his great advice, being a great leader of our small business community of interest. And Mario, I'll just wrap it up to you for some final comments.
I look forward to seeing everybody, and definitely ping me. I'm on the registered list already. So if you want to get together or have a conversation or get any more details or anything you reflect on after this, by all means, reach out.
Great. Well, that being said, we went over time a little bit. We hope you found this valuable. Any thoughts that you have on the webinar, feel free to shoot us an email. Have a great afternoon, and we will see you all in Dallas. Safe travels, and have a great show. Bye-bye.